The house?
That's cold-blooded.
What
What
you
up,
talking
y'all?
about?
Welcome
What, the
back to
basketball
It
team? Oh,
I
that's what we
Said,
did.
a podcast for
Asshole
all
gonna do
things
shit when he started
sports.
recording.
Boy, Craig.
Don't say that though. See,
Fucking D-bag said that
that
shit
wasn't
as soon as
me.
he started recording.
Boy,
Hey,
Craig.
as soon as I started recording, he hit you with the slide disc. Like, what bowl Michigan playing? Like, hey, that ain't got nothing to do with me.
That's why. I ain't get no fucks. Care about what happened.
But what up, y'all? We are doing our reaction to this bowl season as far as the big two games that we saw this year, which is Michigan and not Michigan. I'm so sorry. Blair.
Fantastically said. It was on his mind. It was on his
They were
mind.
just on my mind, you know what I'm saying? Because
He loves Michigan secretly. He gonna try to cut it all out. He loves Michigan secretly. He better not say, "What's up, y'all?" This is I said it. No, we keeping that cut.
You gotta keep it in.
I'm gonna keep it in. We roll. No cuts in this one. All right. But that was Alabama versus Notre Dame. Blair said just before we started recording, saying, I ain't watching that bull. Michigan wasn't in them. All right, Michigan wasn't in them, so he like, I ain't watching it. Like, he ain't gonna tell nobody. But watching that game, of course, everything happened that we said was gonna happen. Bama came in, they ran the ball, they threw the ball. Devontae Smith threw he had 3 touchdowns. It's like every time he threw the ball, he was scoring. So, it was a blowout, but some people were saying they should have blew him out by more. I think they just left the foot off the gas. What you think, Darius? You think they just left the foot off the gas and let them live?
Yeah, I feel like the boys ain't cocky or nothing like that. They ain't have nothing left to prove. It definitely went the way that I thought it was gonna go. Like, the dude Devontae Smith is too good, bro. Like, Buddy is good. And it's crazy. He ain't even the best receiver on the team. Like, the dude that's hurt supposed to be better than him. So, like, that's crazy. And the running back, what's his name? Najee Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Monster. My man ran the 110 hurdles on my boy, man, in the first quarter. Like, that jump was crazy, bro. But I didn't feel like Notre Dame deserved to be there anyway.
That was my question. Like, did you think they?
Was like, but
who would you have put in if you take Notre Dame out?
I feel like you can look back at Texas A&M Bowl, the way that they beat the snot out of who they played in their bowl game, and how they was like, oh, these teams are different at the end of the year or whatever. Texas A&M, they lost to them the first game of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Florida ended up only losing by like 6 or 8 points in the SEC championship. So who knows what Texas A&M could have did if they would have had that spot. Somebody like that.
I feel you. I feel the same way. I just feel like Notre Dame they weren't bad. They just didn't have the speed or the talent on the outside to be able to compete. They had the receivers that had the speed to be able to compete with Bama or any other 3 teams.
That makes them bad then.
They weren't.
It makes them bad for the playoffs.
Team. I can't say
it's not a terrible team, but I'm saying it's like if they don't have the talent, and nobody thinks they have the talent apparently, because I don't think anybody thought they were actually going to win that game. No. So if nobody thinks they had the talent to beat them, is it just name alone that got them in it? And because they aligned with a division this year?
Yeah.
They only did that because of COVID.
Yeah. We discussed that because they're Notre Dame. And people, for whatever reason, still mess with Notre Dame and think that they're the greatest university to ever walk the face of the earth.
There's a lot of rich people, I think, went to Notre Dame, bro. So there's people that went there that want to see Notre Dame. It's like Alabama, I guess. They consider it one of those type of universities.
This is my thing for the committee. Like, if Notre Dame and Clemson would have had a game like how Alabama and Florida had in the SEC championship, then I could see maybe you still let Notre Dame slide in there. Because when you go out there for that championship game, this is supposed to be your best foot forward because this is your last stepping stone. The championship game. You playing in that conference championship game.
Right.
And boys went to the championship game and got slaughtered.
This is true.
I don't care that they was undefeated before that. That's fine and dandy. That's fine
Yeah,
and
because they
dandy.
kept putting the point on you had to win your conference to even get in. Or you had to be the champion of the conference to get in, and they changed it for them.
Well,
Now I'm like, I feel like if you get slaughtered in the championship game, if you keep it close, that's one thing. But I don't care who it is, Notre Dame. If Alabama go and let Florida slaughter them, they should drop out. You can't get all the way to the end of the road and then get slaughtered like that, bro. That's just my personal opinion. And they wasn't even ranked number 1.
Nope.
I got you.
I mean, I felt like they were going to get in, 1, because they were Notre Dame. 2, the Pac-10 did not well, we didn't really have a lot of expectations, but the teams that we thought that were at least going to be kind of good did not live up to those expectations because a lot of their players decided we not playing. So I think that helped them out for them to slide on in there. And I don't think people wanted to see Texas A&M play Alabama twice in one season. They're like, we already seen it. And I feel like,
but my thing is
too, like we can get people in, that's Notre
From
Dame.
Notre Dame fans, yeah.
We can get people
more people to watch the game.
Fans, Ohio State fans, so that covers more, a nice majority of the country for the most part.
But how much because people still feel like the SEC is the best conference in the country, and a lot of people feel like the ACC is weak, which is true. So you telling me you want to watch Clemson and Notre Dame again?
No, I didn't.
So because I'm like, if the ACC is weak, and it could be that because Ohio State, they smashed Clemson. So if the ACC is weak, man, that means Notre Dame was gonna get smashed regardless. I would have rather seen Texas A&M.
Well, you got to think they did, like Clemson did win the national championship. So even if the conference is sorry, they win the games that matter.
Yeah,
they won what 2 of the last 3 years or 2 out of the last 4 years, something like that.
Yeah, for them, for Clemson, there's no question. They won the ACC championship, and they didn't fall that far in the rankings. So I felt like they deserved to be there. But
that's what I'm saying. You like the whole thing is weak, and I'm like, Clemson keeps it. So Clemson's not sorry, but a lot of the other teams are not as good overall in the conference. I can understand, but Clemson seems to be able to at least stand on their own when they make it to the games. Yeah, they got beat by Ohio State this year, but they actually have won the national championship very recently, more than once. So they don't suck. Now Notre Dame might have picked the ACC because maybe they thought that was the one. Because Notre Dame, I always thought Notre Dame was somewhere weird. Like, isn't it in like Indiana or something, man?
Yes, it is.
So they could have technically jumped in on the Big Ten, or Big Ten wasn't playing at the time. So I guess they could have jumped in somewhere else. Maybe that's the next strongest conference they thought of, or they. Oh no, they're in the ACC in basketball, right?
I feel like ACC for Notre Dame is another one. Even whether the ACC is weak or not, it's a conference where you can get exposure.
Yeah.
That's true. And they were playing at the time, and the Big Ten had already canceled.
Yeah, they didn't play. Yeah, so
on in with the ACC, we already have, and
they needed something because their teams weren't. You couldn't do the way they normally play. They couldn't jump around playing all the random teams because everybody made like the interconference pledge, like we're only going to play teams in the conference type deal.
They have the deal with the committee because they're independent. That is a blue blood, apparently still. So
you said apparently still, brother. That'll never change.
Yeah, I'm just.
Or as terrible as they've been recently, like. Notre Dame football goes back as far as any other football. Like it's that old, bro. So they're not. Yeah, they'd be terrible, but Alabama was bad for a stretch too.
Yeah.
Until Nick Saban built them back up. They weren't that great before Nick Saban. Like he's been there almost 15 years now, something like that.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, but they weren't super great before they got him. That's how they ended up getting him. And then they turned back into like the Alabama of old, but it wasn't Alabama for a long time.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. But going to the next game though, we did see Clemson, Ohio State. I'm not gonna start this. I'm gonna let y'all start it because the reason why I want to talk about it is because we've seen all these experts, all these so-called experts, come out here to say, "Oh, they're gonna dominate them. They ain't got a chance. They gonna do their thing." You know what? Wait a minute. If y'all watched our review, wait a minute. Y'all said that too. But this is, yeah, I said it. You gotta own up to what your pick was. It's like I gotta say this. I picked Cincinnati to beat Georgia. It almost came true, but
they blew it.
They blew it at the end. But that also gives us credence to, hey, well, maybe even Cincinnati could have did a better job than Notre Dame because they played Georgia real tough. So, but speaking of Clemson, Ohio State, I said I keep seeing on these shows, didn't nobody think Ohio State was going to win by 21? Except for me, I said Ohio State, after being falsely accused of being a homer by Blair, I literally said I've done the research. They're going to win by 17. I have not done my research for the Alabama Ohio State game. I'm in the middle of that, so we're not going to pick the game today. But how did y'all feel watching the game? Like Darius, I've seen some of your posts. How did you feel watching the game? Like, damn, I did not see this coming.
No, it didn't surprise me that Ohio State performed the way that they performed. I personally thought it was going to be one of them games, like it's a shootout type thing. And it started out that way. But like I was telling you, I feel like the biggest thing was the players followed their coach. So instead of now, they done played this whole season, next game, next game, next game. Now you done put this over your players. Oh, I only think they ranked 11th in the country. Man, you done coached them like these niggas is the 11th ranked in the country. And that's how Clemson had felt. They just felt like, oh, we just better than them. So we just gonna come out here and this shit just gonna happen. And it didn't happen. Shit, I'm more disappointed than Clemson. I ain't surprised at Ohio State. Them boys played good. I thought Clemson was gonna play better. They got their ass toasted. Hey, Clemson fans out there, hope you ain't on suicide watch, my nigga. I'm just saying. Hey.
I don't think that upset. I mean,
that's why you play the game. Them losing that linebacker, that hurt. Because I thought, because I know they was missing the DB in the first half or whatever. So I thought maybe when he came back, that jump would have helped Clemson out a little bit. But then with the linebacker being gone, I was like, well, that killed that. And maybe that offensive coordinator was more important than Dabo Swinney thought.
Yeah, because before the game, he literally said, nah, it's cool. I got it. My man upstairs got it. We good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. He was good, but he was good the first quarter, them first 14 points. He was like, yep, bam, yep, bam.
Yeah, like the first quarter and a half. Yeah, that joint was good. Shoot. Ohio State kept the gas going. Clemson went 3 and out. And then it was over with. You saw my status said, yeah, let me cut on this PS5.
Yeah.
This shit over now.
Listen, man, watching this game, everything that I said that I have researched, and I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm like, man, Clemson has a good defensive line. They're okay. They just really, really inexperienced. They back in, they're very much beatable, but they ain't played nobody that can score points on them. They played against Boston College, who had they have like one receiver who transferred from Ohio State. Other than that, I don't really know anybody on their squad. And they put it on them at first. They got out to a good lead, and then they blew it. But watching the game, I was talking about the offensive line, Ohio State's offensive line versus Clemson's defensive line. Ohio State's offensive line dominated them. Then you flip the ball and you talk about Clemson's offensive line against the Ohio State's defensive line. Tommy Togiai and the boys just did their thing. In that second half, once Clemson got down, they went away from Travis Etienne. They stopped throwing to him out of the backfield. They stopped handing him the ball. They got one-dimensional and was like, all right, we got the only way we're going to get back in this is if we let Trevor throw this mug.
They never adjusted.
Yeah, then that's when you're getting dusty because you have a game plan. You don't have the amount of receivers with the amount of talent Ohio State does, but you have some very good receivers. 17, I cannot remember his name to save my life right now, but he was balling. He did his thing.
And Trevor, he ain't play his best game neither. Like,
I mean, but
overthrew. I counted 2 touchdowns he overthrew. I mean, Justin Fields, shit, he overthrew 1 too. But shit, when you account for 6 of them things, hey, you can miss one.
Hey man, I think Justin took it personal. I think he definitely took it personal. Like, oh, okay, y'all saying that old boy better than me? Y'all saying I ain't on his level? Like, y'all know I was ranked ahead of him coming out of high school. All right, I'm gonna take this real personal. Went out through 6 TDs. Trevor still threw for 400 yards because a lot of his stuff is a lot of what they will say, like in NFL, a lot of dink and dunk stuff. They don't really take the top off the defense because they don't have the receiver that can do that. The one time they did, they got a pass interference call at the end where our corner, Sean Wade, was in very good position. I don't think he would have caught that ball, but you had that left hand on him.
I don't understand how to do the All-American. This nigga be getting burnt.
Listen, when you watch the film on Sean Wade, he bails out too fast. And that's what Kirk Herbstreit said it on the broadcast. He said he bails out too fast. When he's playing off coverage, that's when he's at his worst because he bails out too fast. And they're like, we just gonna throw it right underneath him because he's trying not to get beat deep. So if you try not to get beat deep, I guess that's what they're teaching him. Like, look, you fast enough not to get beat deep. But when he played his best when he was in the slot because he was a press corner in the slot. So play press man on the outside. When he played press man, he played great. He's a press man corner. He has to realize that. He's not an off corner. He can't sit back and let the receiver come to him. He has to put his hands on the receiver in the beginning.
And one thing,
kind of corner. Period.
One thing I'll say, I still feel like Trevor is the better QB out of him and Justin Fields. I definitely still think that just because Trevor had this one bad game or whatever. Just because I feel like they both do the same things, but Trevor, he's a little bigger, strides there a little longer, and I feel like he's a little more active. But I definitely feel like Justin Fields proved like, because people was like, oh shoot, he's sliding behind Buddy from Florida. He's sliding behind Mac Jones. Nah, he proved that, like I'm up here, nigga. Like I'm part of the elite quarterbacks in college football. I definitely feel like he proved that. And Trevor Lawrence, he picked a bad time to have a bad game.
And I don't really blame Trevor Lawrence. I blame the offensive line. He just didn't have enough time to do.
I blame Dabo.
They weren't prepared,
Hey, he deserved that shit too, man. He deserved that shit. Because every year this dude come out, it seemed like we talking about something. Oh, Dabo done said something out of pocket. I don't know how we should take that because he a little cocky little son bitch. But yeah, he got to eat that shit now.
Yeah, I mean, but he's still gonna say his little sly shit, and I'm glad that he got his comeuppance because once you become a blue blood, they pretty much there. You won 2 national championships. You becoming a blue blood now. You're a traditional power at this point. You got to shut the fuck up. You got to know when to shut the fuck up. Let's call it what it is. You ain't gonna see Jim Harbaugh out there like, hey man, these niggas is really like the 15th ranked team in the nation. I don't understand how they in the top 5. I don't
understand how he felt like this was the right time to say some shit like that.
I guess he felt like
asked him a question.
All the coaches that were saying it behind closed doors, but then you the one that got to play these niggas, not him. They can say it like, bro, I ain't saying, like, even now, like Nick Saban don't even have Ohio State in his top 3 teams in the country in his poll right now. He got him number 5 behind Texas A&M.
You know what I'm saying? And I can agree with something like that. But come on, man. You put these boys at 11, bro, you trying to be funny. You trying to be funny because we about to play y'all.
Exactly.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, even if he wasn't, that's what it
You
seems.
trying to be funny. Ain't no way, even if we going off a record, because like I said, and y'all know, I've been saying this the whole time. I do not feel like Ohio State deserved to be in the Final Four.
Right.
Only because of
They didn't play enough records, play enough games.
But I ain't never been like, oh yeah, shit, these boys should be like ranked number 11. Just because, like I said, I don't feel right. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't feel right gifting Ohio State nothing, but I don't feel right. I can't take nothing from them neither. Like just where they was ranked at in the beginning of the year, I can't take that from them because they didn't play games. And at the same time, they didn't play games, but they didn't lose games either. So I ain't gonna drop them out my top 10. That's crazy.
Blair, what you think about the game, bro?
Don't ask me that, bro. I didn't even watch that game. Didn't even watch that game, dude.
Okay.
At all. Straight up. Did not. I had no intention on watching this game. Like, I don't care if either one of those dudes win. I live in North Carolina and all these people that love Clemson. I still don't care if Clemson wins. Like, don't talk to me unless my team is playing. I'm gonna watch the national championship game because it's like people that watch the Super Bowl. You just tune in to see what's gonna happen. You ain't watch football all year and people watch the Super Bowl. So it's the same thing. I didn't care less. I wanted them to lose and they didn't. So it's unfortunate. That's all I got to watch. No parts of that game. Tell no lies.
Right.
I actually forgot it came on.
Be on this one. He wanted to be on this one, but he's traveling right now. Apparently, people's making moves out here these time of the year. Everybody doing their thing, but he wanted me to get y'all. Like, man, nah, they was talking about my boys gonna get dominated. They ain't get dominated. I mean, man, I can't wait to get these dudes. Just so happened he had to travel. But I'm gonna say this. The last thing I'm gonna say is Justin Fields is definitely at least the number 2 pick in the draft. We appreciate y'all for tuning in for us. We will make a prediction video for the national championship. It should be fun and interesting. I got a inkling of where some of these guys is gonna go.
Emma.
So we appreciate y'all for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Tell everybody you know. We holla at you till next time.
Let's go blue.
I don't know about that bullshit.